URC, folks, round number 7, Munster up against Glasgow. Big game, big win for the Munster boys. 40 points to 29. Both sides get 4 try bonus points in this one. We'll go through some key events and stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts. Got up, watched this one with my breakfast at Musgrave Park. They were treated to a lot of tries. They'll not be pleased with how many tries they conceded through mauls, but geez, they were treated to some proper entertainment. And what a start. Munster, I mean, there were penalties at the breakdown both ways early, but it was Glasgow who started copping them. They got about 3 in a row. They got warned for a yellow card, and yeah, man. The first one through, Dogbo had to come. It was just relentless pressure. So many phases. The forwards were never given the ball to the forwards, the backs that close out. Try, 7 points to 0. Great start. And then a yellow card for the loose head for Glasgow. What's his name? Macbeth. Yeah, just too many penalties conceded. So 14 men on the field. They're already down 7 points. Can they hold out Munster during the yellow card? No. No, they can't. Munster are absolutely lethal. Tom Ahern, who's playing in the 6th jersey for this one in the absence of Peter O'Mahony, he's a big unit. And they cross-kick it to him. And he does really well. He gets taken out in the air by Kennedy, the halfback. But still manages to scramble over for a try. He looked to be in a bit of discomfort after the fact, but man, what a try. Tom Ahern gets man of the match. 2 tries, pretty rightly deserved. So 12 points to 0 lead to Munster, and then they get maybe the try of the match, and it's a really pleasing thing to see, which I don't think we saw under Van Graan. Like, I watched Munster a decent amount under Van Graan. What's the right word to use? They were conservative. I don't know if they just didn't have that much of a license to play at times, but they don't have that problem under, under Roundtree. I mean, Frisch is an excitement machine player, so maybe you kind of have to play that way to accommodate the playing styles of your players. You know, sometimes your team has to make the best out of what you've got with the players, and like with a guy like Frisch, why wouldn't you play some proper running out of your own 22 rugby? And Crowley, I guess he's come along in that time as well. But my goodness, running out from their own 22. Frisch had a carry. Ahern was there. Ryan on the wing with a dink through. They gather it. Barron's the man who's able to finish it off. It's a hell of a try. So 12 points conceded during the yellow card for Glasgow. It's 19-0. It's looking like it's going to be a pretty tough day at the office for the Glasgow boys. They did manage to get a try on the board from a maul when they finally got a penalty, which gave them some decent field position, which was very hard to come by. And the maul is the one area that Glasgow will be really chuffed with, and the one area that Munster will be a little bit concerned by, because they scored a lot of tries through mauls. Vailanu gets the first one. There was no stopping it. It never looked like being stopped. So 19 points to 5. I mean, it means Glasgow's not quite dead and buried, but they're still a long way back. Crowd didn't like a push on Craig Casey after he'd box kicked it, but nothing really too much doing there. But good to see the crowd, you know, getting their voices involved in the game. That's what they're there for. They're there to try and get their team across the line. And, man, they were doing it. They were just, the Glasgow guys just had to make so many tackles. They flashed up a stat at one point, and I forget what the numbers were, but it was like, was it 50 to 12 or 70? I can't remember. The tackle count was unbelievably lopsided because Munster were just so dominant in terms of possession, and they managed to get the bonus point before half-time. Ahern finishes it off. He gets his second. I mean, good carries from Frisch, from Coombs, Archer with a nice pass in the build-up. It's a great try, man. Munster are such a fun team to watch now. So 26-5 at half-time. It's still a long way to come back for Glasgow. But again, just when you think the game's more or less over, they did come back. They got themselves a maul try at the start of the second half. That one was Matthews. You know, he tends to get on the board most games, and there's no difference here. They actually kicked the conversion for that one to make it 26 points to 10. But you're still 2 scores down. And they got another yellow card warning because they were still, I guess, on the wrong side of referee Van der Westhuizen's whistle. Pleased for Nankivell because he got a try. He's one that I really am disappointed to see leave New Zealand, but he's doing seemingly pretty well at Munster. I think he's going to get better the longer he stays with the side. Munster had advantage. They had to check the grounding, but he's able to kind of burrow over after finding a wee half gap after a lot of Munster pressure. Sordoni also gets yellow carded for the penalty, which came, well, they had advantage anyway. So rolling into the 9, 33-10. It's starting to look once again like the game is over. Good to see Ollie Jaeger come on, another Super Rugby connection. Good to see him back in Ireland. He came on, got a good half an hour into him. Won a turnover at one point. So, yeah, good to see him, playing and see what he can do in Munster colours as well. But again, once you think Glasgow are dead and buried, they just keep things a little bit interesting. Darge, who was probably the best player for Glasgow in this one, he got a try during the yellow card. After a maul had gone close. He's another one who kind of burrows over from close range. Pretty hard to stop. So 33-15. And Munster actually started to concede a few penalties. I thought maybe they're going to get a yellow card warning. But they ended up getting the yellow card for their inability to stop Glasgow's maul. So it's a penalty try on about the hour mark. 33-22. It's a bonus point for the Glasgow boys. A little bit of doubt in the mind. Can Glasgow, with the extra man, come back into the game? Well, not really. O'Brien went close on the left wing. Glasgow's defence held, but the Hodnett try, I think, on 65, where you knew the game was absolutely dead and buried, because you can only come back from like 3 scores down so many times. Every time you get back within touching distance, if you concede next, it's not going to go well for you. So, I mean, they had advantage after the O'Brien moment, so they just tapped it and just Hodnett powered over with, was it Jaeger and somebody else beside him? So, good bit of power from close range. 40 points to 22. That is too long to come back from. Munster's defence was still put under a lot of pressure. That's when Jaeger gets his turnover. But they did get one pretty much at the death through Fraser. It was another maul try. So maul try, after a maul try. That was the kind of order of the day. When they would have phases, Munster's defence generally looked pretty comfortable at keeping the Glasgow guys at bay, but they certainly struggled with the maul. So, yeah, they get one at the death to make it 40 points to 29. Potentially a chance to chase down a losing bonus point, but not to be. So, yeah, man. Munster, geez, you'll be happy with the way your guys can play. The cross kick to Ahern was great. The second Ahern try, the build-up was fantastic. The Barron try, the build-up was fantastic. Great to see Nankerville get on the board. Some pure power from the likes of Hodnett with the support of Jaeger. So really pleasing factors all around. But the fact that you struggled so much with the maul will obviously be one that you look at. But it's not unique. I mean, Glasgow's been doing that to everybody this season. So, yeah, man. Game of two halves. Possession finishes 54-46. Territory 52-48. But both of those were Munster dominate the first, Glasgow dominate the second. Like Munster had 66% possession in the first half, but only 42 in the second. They had 58% territory in the first half, 46 in the second. So, yeah, just a game of two halves, man. I mean, it's cliche, but it's true. Run meters 444 to 313 in favour of Munster. Defenders beaten 24-23. Pretty even. Clean breaks 3-2. Pretty even. Turnovers 1, 5 each. Pretty even. The goal kicking from Duncan Weir was not great. They only got 1 conversion plus the penalty try conversion, so they missed, 3 conversions? Yeah, they could have been a little bit closer if they'd been getting them from the tee, whereas I think Munster just missed the 1. Coombs beat 6 defenders, made 11 tackles. Darge for Glasgow beat 4 defenders, made 16 tackles, won 2 turnovers as well. Hodnett made 11 tackles. Daly made 96 metres. Frisch made 70 metres. Yeah, man, lots of standouts from both sides all round. But Munster making a mockery of my power rankings, which had Glasgow at number 1. They will not be at number 1 for the coming week. But we take a break now from URC and head into Europe. So I look forward to watching some Champions Cup. You guys let us know your thoughts. How were your thoughts on the game? Munster looking pretty decent. I mean, good performance last week against Leinster, but not the result. This week they get the result. And if you're a Glasgow fan, how happy are you with that? Would you like to see your team score some tries in other ways? Or are you happy with just building your game around the maul? You guys have any thoughts? Talk to you again soon.